Ain't me when you no, let us start locally. Hello. Don't mind my gap teeth. Yeah, it makes me more beautiful in it, like they say in the UK. Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are all over the world. My name is Ayo, or you can call me Blue. That's the name of my YouTube channel. Please, I need you to comment on the comment section. I need you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, thank you very much. So let's go straight to the point. Yeah, as I told you earlier on, I'm going to be making videos, but this is my very first video, and I think the foundation of you traveling to the United Kingdom as a nurse or a doctor begins with writing an an English test. That is what it's called, an English test. Well, there are different types of English tests. Most popularly, there are two types of English tests, and I'm sure almost everybody knows it if you are been in the race of moving out of the country. And these most popular English tests are the IELTS and the OET exam. Well, the most popular is the IELTS exam. Apparently, some people don't even know about the OET exam, which is called the Occupational English Test. Most people are not aware, but I think nowadays people are becoming more aware that there's another English test that exists apart from the Occupational English Test. Apart from the IELTS test. So majorly, I'm going to be talking about the difference between the Occupational English Test and the IELTS. I'll just call it OET for short. Yeah, just to, because I'm sure if we ask so many people, especially professionals like nurses and doctors back home in Nigeria, Ghana, wherever you might be, what is still keeping you from moving out of the country, the number one challenge is still they have not been able to meet up with the English test requirements. And I must tell you, I've been there. It's very draining. It's psychologically traumatic. Yes, not getting the required score. Some have done these exams more than 3, 2, 4. What am I saying? 5, 6, 7, 8. I know of someone that did it 10 times. Yes, before she was able to make the requirement. That was for Canada. Then when the PR and express entry thing was still very popular, it's still ongoing, but it's not as popular like 2, 3, 4 years ago. So I myself am a living witness. I did this exam. Oh, IELTS showed me. Well, I did this exam, and I said to myself, am I this daft? Am I this dumb? Because it's not easy. So the occupational English test is this video just make people aware. If you have been struggling with IELTS for a very long time, you have not been able to make the requirement, why not look into occupational English test? Now I'm going to be telling you the difference between both. IELTS is what most people know, but IELTS, as I said, is an English test. Let's also just go straight to the point. So this English test is just, there are 4 modules, which is the listen, speaking, writing, and reading in the IELTS test. And then for most people, the requirement for you to be able to travel out or meet the nursing and midwifery council requirements if you're a nurse, or meet the medical requirements if you're a doctor, is for you to have at least, let me talk for nurses now, when I invite my doctor friend later, when as time goes by, would be inviting people, then he or she will be able to talk more on the doctor's requirements. So let me just, but I know their overall should be 7.5 or something like that. But let me just talk about the nurses, the one I know. So you are supposed to have 7 in listening, 7 in reading. At least you can have more than that in reading, in listening, and in speaking 7. And then you can have a 6.5 in writing. Yeah, it sounds easy, but man, it's real. It's a real struggle. So that's it about your requirements for if you are going to be writing IELTS. And apart from that, one other advantage of IELTS is that they have centers all over Nigeria. You can, even in Ibadan, yeah, they have centers, Ibadan, Lagos, everywhere, almost everywhere, except some few states that they don't have centers. So that's why most people prefer to go do IELTS, because you don't need to travel down anywhere to write IELTS, except some little, I think Oshogbo, I don't know. Before there was no center there, they had to travel down to Ibadan. But I think there should be a center there now. I'm not sure. But everywhere, Abuja, almost all the states in Nigeria, IELTS centers, yes, you can register them. And it's quite cheap. Not cheap. Yeah, not cheap. But I would say it's quite cheap compared to registering for the OET exam. IELTS is like, I don't know the price now. I will find out. But then I think it was 78,000 naira when I was doing my for British Council and IDP. There are two what will I call them? Two bodies, yeah, that offer the OET exam. The IELTS, the British Council and the IDP. The IDP is owned by the Australian and the British Council is owned by the British. I think they are apparently like the same price, but you can, yeah. And then the only difference between both of them is that I think the remark for IDP is quite expensive. The last time I checked, it was 42,000. Things are more expensive. It might have as well go up. And then the IELTS was that for the British Council remark was 15,000 naira, so that you can know which ones. But apparently, some people will say, oh, IDP is more simpler than it. I'm telling you, I've done both. Is a lie. Everything is the same. Their questions are almost the same. None is simpler. It's just about getting the technique and passing IELTS. Everything is the same. OET, IELTS, IDP, IELTS, British Council. Their questions are from Cambridge. They are almost, yeah, they are the same. None is simpler, because I got that information that, oh, IDP might, and I started registering for IDP. I don't. Well, another person can have another opinion apart from what I have, but I've done both, and I don't think the questions really differ. They are both on the same standard. Now, that's primarily, I know most everybody will know about IELTS. Let's talk about OET. Now, I am a living witness. I've done OET, I've done IELTS, so I would be able to tell you and answer most of your questions, because yes, I've done both, and I will say I've passed both also. So come in with your questions, ask your questions in the comment section. When I go on Facebook or YouTube live, you'll be able to ask your questions directly, and then I'll be able to answer you. Now, OET, the Occupational English Test by the Australian government, is much more expensive. That's why most people don't, yeah, because in Nigeria, a nurse is paid stipends. Yeah, even the IELTS fees like your salary. That is only if you are working in big private hospitals. But as a government worker, you earn like 100,000 or even less. So how will you be paying for OET? Which the last time I did it, when I did OET, that was 2019. I paid 250,000 naira. Now I think it's now 587 Australian dollars, and that's about, I'm not sure, I don't know what rate an Australian dollar is to a naira now, by just being there, yeah, like 350,000, either less or more, plus or minus. That's a whole lot of money, yeah, like your 2-3 month salary. Wow. But yeah, so let's continue. That's about the price. OET is also in 4 sections: speaking, listening, writing, listen, speaking, and reading. Same thing like IELTS. Now, what differs from it? Let me talk about their grading. I said IELTS, you can have a 7.3 and then 6.5 in writing. You are expected to have a grade B in all the other 3 modules: reading, speaking, and listening, and then you can have a C in writing. Let me explain the grade. The grade means that the B means you should be getting between 350 and 450, and then C plus or a C is like 300 to 340. That will be accepted if you have that in writing. And then, yeah, that's it about OET. That's their scoring system. You need to have 3 B's in and 1 C in, at least in writing. Then you would have this requirement for the UK Nursing and Midwifery Council. Now, a downside of OET is that OET is really not accepted in all countries. Yeah, that's a downside. Like in America now, OET is not accepted. Although they said some states in America are not accepting it for their CGFNS, but it's not been confirmed. I'm not too sure. They did say they will be accepting it. Not every state, but some of the states. But that was like 2 years ago. I've not confirmed if that has been done. It's not accepted in Canada. So the only way you can use OET really is you're streamlined to only United Kingdom and Australia itself that offers the exam. So in case you'd still plan on relocating after you come to the UK, you still want to go to Australia, you still want to go to US, you still want to go, because we'll be exploring all those information too later on, then you might need to rewrite another exam, which is IELTS, because that is widely accepted in every country. So that is one of the downside of OET, and that's why some people will say, no, I will not be using it for other things. But well, I just do it and then just leave Nigeria first. That's what I advise. So those are the major difference between OET, which is simpler. That's what the question I get most of the time. Now, most people say OET is simpler. I won't say yes, I won't say no, but I'll tend towards saying yes. And why I will say yes is because OET is it's about your profession. Yeah, they ask you questions. The English, the writing is towards what your professional, like healthcare. Even the reading, the paperwork will be about, maybe patient, maybe, just things, not like the general English language, just things within your profession, the healthcare profession. So it's something you'll be familiar with, but it's still the same layout, like the writing, the speaking. The writing is in two phases too, just like IELTS is in two phases too. That's how the writing is. They want you to write a letter to a patient, or they want you to be replying a patient. Or I've written it since 2019. I can't really remember much about it, but it's those are the slight different, but it's still in the same way. They want to know your command of English. That's what they are driving at, both OET and IELTS. They want to know your command of English. So then the what is it called, the speaking now is what I like most in OET, which I find much simpler than IELTS. The OET is about, well, maybe because I know I talk well, and then I know how to act well. It's not like I talk well, I can act well. So OET is like a role play. The speaking is like a role play. You're expected to explain to a patient who has a problem or something, who has a disease condition like an health talk or something. So you are expected to, so you have to have vast knowledge on that area or the topic they've given you, so that you'll be able to explain to that patient. So I find it much more easier than IELTS speaking, where they can talk about the first IELTS I did, said I talk about art. I said art. Is it commercial art or art class? Or I had no idea of what to talk about. I was I was fidgeting. I just talked about, I don't know anything about art. The only thing I remember about art is just all these things that they hang on the wall, like what you're saying behind me. Yeah, all this, that's what I remember about art. I don't know, art can be art and communication, art, music is art, all those. So I didn't know that. I just so I would say I preferred the OET speaking, because it was something I knew I could talk about. Maybe they can tell you to explain about diabetic to a patient, healthcare. So I find that more simpler than, but all others still have their own. So what I will advise is that's why I said I won't say yes, it's simpler or no, but it's doable. I find people passing OET even at one sitting. I've rarely seen someone pass IELTS as one sitting. I've seen my close friend did it once, and she had the exact requirements they wanted for UK, but most people write it more than once, maybe twice, maybe the third time. Some even write it 5, 6, 7 times. I wrote IELTS 4 times, or I think 5 times, before I opted for OET, and then I passed my OET at one sitting. Why I passed it at one sitting, I would say the IELTS really helped me, though, because at that time I was writing OET. I'd already passed IELTS, but not like I passed it once. I'd already passed IELTS because I didn't have the requirement at once, but I don't know how to explain this. I'd already I'd already written 3 consecutive IELTS, and I was having 8 in reading. 8.5 in reading. I had 8.58 2 consecutive times. My speaking, I had 7.5 the 3 times I wrote it. my writing was what was now fluctuating. My listening, I had 7.5 and 8, 2 consecutive 3 times. My writing was what was now fluctuating. I was having 6. It was my writing I was struggling with. And when I did it, I had 7 in writing. The last time I did, before I opted for it, I had 7 in writing. I had 8.5 in listen. I had 8 in reading. And then, no, yeah, and I think, no, my reading that had been having 8.5 2 consecutive times, I don't know what happened. I dropped to 6.5. That result would have been perfect. I got angry. I said, how could I have 8 in reading? 6.5 in reading when I've written it 3. That was the 4th time I was writing, and the 3 consecutives I had written, I was having an 8.5. And when I now passed the writing that was giving me problems, I got a 6.5 in reading. I was running crazy. I said, no, this is like they purposely failed me. It was looking like it. I cried my eyes out. So I said, no, I'm going to opt for OET. So I wrote OET. I prepared for within 3 weeks. That was when I wrote OET. Prepared. I wrote IELTS. That same month, I wrote OET. I was even giving all my concentration on IELTS, not knowing they were going to fuck me up in my reading again, because I was already confident in my reading. So I wrote OET and I passed it at once. And even they sent me a mail that, no, for the first time you did exceedingly well, and they gave me a gold star. A golden star or something. I don't know, like a star that you did exam for a first sitting. I got 450, 400. I think I only had 390. Everything was above 400, and what they wanted was a 350 for Northern Midwifery Council requirement. So I would say IELTS really helped me to understand OET better. So when you tell me you want to write OET, I tell you, I ask you, what is your score in OET? Or in IELTS, if you are still struggling with IELTS, because this is about understanding something, the layout, there's something you have to understand about it. These 2 exams, if you get it right in IELTS, you get it right in OET. It's just that OET is a little more, like, their marking is even a little more simpler, because they can, like, in their reading, they allow errors, like, not like they are, but if you miss a spelling, like you want to spell sphygmomanometer now, and you miss the A out or the P out or the H out, they can still mark it for you, because they understand this is what you want to write, this is your profession. But if you do that kind of thing in IELTS reading, that is marked wrongly for you. So there are higher chances of passing OET in that sense. Do you get what I mean? So the higher, it's higher. There's an higher chance, for you to pass OET than IELTS in that sense of, not like it's very easy. So I would say, if you are still struggling with IELTS, because some people, when they say, oh, I'll go and write OET, I failed IELTS, I'm tired, I say, okay, yeah, it's fine, go and write OET if you have the money. But what is your score in this IELTS? And someone will tell me, I am 4 in writing, 4.5 in reading, or 5 in reading. I'll say, oh, well, the chances of you passing OET is still slim, because you have not gotten the grasp. I would only advise you to write OET if you have written IELTS and you are struggling with 7, you're still having a 6.5, a 7, a 6.5, a 7. You have not been able to get everything together to have that result you need for your cancelled requirement. But if not, you are still struggling and getting a 4, 5, you might not understand the concept of OET, but you might. I'm just giving my own opinion. I've had a friend whom I advised that, what do you want, IELTS or OET? If you want OET, I will support you, give you materials and everything. I said, I'll read and go for it. And she wrote OET once and passed it. So not like you can't pass OET once. If she had written the IELTS once, she might have lule in maybe one writing or reading, because the IELTS, I beg, I know if you just understand how they do that. So, but you can do it and get it once. But you have to know that I don't want you to have it about easy. So you're not prepared. You have to over prepare, like you're preparing for IELTS. So materials for OET, I have it. I can send it to you. You can ask me questions about it and everything. I'm ready to answer everything about OET, and I'm ready to give you advice on if you should go for OET. If you have the money, well, fine, go for it. And because UK need nurses, we need you to be here. We are seriously short-staffed. We are choking. We need you to be here. I'm going to be talking about getting jobs in the UK as time goes by, but let's start from the foundation, passing your exams, your requirement to come in. I hope you like my video. Please like, subscribe, and then I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.